Hello, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here, as ever, for today's ACCA Business Technology examination video, where we're going to walk and talk you through some top tutor tips that could help you to pass your examination. And I know just the lady who is going to help us. Well, Maria, feel free to introduce yourself and why your tips today are going to help someone get that 50 plus to pass their examination.
Hello, everyone. This is Maria Jalal, and I am giving some kind of tuitions to ACCA students all over the world. And today we are going to discuss some of the few techniques which can help you to pass ACCA Business and Technology exam. So I'm just getting excited with James to talk some of few tips as James has invited me in his meeting to talk about ACCA F1 exam.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your questions?
Well, first of all, Maria, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I'll put all
Thank
of Maria's details at the bottom, guys. So if you've got any questions, leave us a comment at the bottom. But Maria, if an ACCA student who's got their first business technology exam comes to you and says, Maria, how do I pass it? What's your first top tip that you would walk and talk them through?
When James, when some students start their ACCA, they are having no idea of the exam format, and they just start from the fresh. So my tips would be to first analyze the syllabus of F1 exam. You can say you have a study text of Kaplan, BBP, and you should scroll through all of the syllabus and just mark each and every important topic so that you can have a mindset of what you are gonna read in your practice sessions. So have a notes on your side, and just pinpoint those areas which you are going to prepare first, and then just skim through all the chapters first, and then read in detail, and have notes on your side, and write notes on your own words so that you can review those notes later. And yeah, because if you start from this practice, you will gain lots of marks in your exam. So my tip would be to just have a mindset of learner, and start very early in your syllabus. Don't rush and do blunders in your exam, because I've seen many students who prepare later in their studies, and this is not a best practice to do exam first, because you are sitting first ACC exam and you don't have any idea of the exam format and anything. So I would recommend to first skim through all of the chapters in ACCA Business and Technology book study text of Kaplan or BBP, whichever you can say, whichever you are flexible with. But I would recommend to my students to go through the Kaplan study text, because it is having numerous test your understanding questions which can actually help you pass your exam in first attempt.
Fantastic.
So first skim through the study text, note down each and every detail of your own understanding of what you got from reading the chapters in a very you can say in a very quick manner, and then go in detail and make your own notes. And when you complete first chapter, do the practice of that chapter in the kit, in the relevant kit. But I would recommend, if you follow Kaplan study text, do both kits, like BPP or Kaplan, so that the chances of passing will maximize.
Exactly. So yeah, go through the chapter. We're going through your study text, and then you also get a sort of exam kit as well, which again you can take what you've just learned and then apply it to some questions on there, because it's worth noting down, if you're taking notes from this recording, that, as you'll know, Maria, in the business technology exam, they can test absolutely any area of that syllabus about how business functions, what a leader should do, how an accountant works out. I mean, what would be your advice for someone who's maybe just starting their accounting career? They've maybe not worked in an accounting firm before. I mean, what's your advice for a student in that situation?
Yeah, because James, what I see in my students, lots of students don't like the idea of picking up theory paper first because they don't like theory, and it's a very daunting paper for them. I have seen many students in my career, throughout the career, that they don't prefer to give F1 exam, which is a business and technology exam. We ACCA rephrase it, and they just don't like theory. I don't know why, because it's a very you can say good theoretical paper. It can broaden your horizon on business functions and your leadership styles and your everything related to your personal you can say grooming related to your career. So you should start doing some kind of practice in grasping those theory concepts, and you will love it. Because I don't think so why students don't like theory papers, because theory can literally enhance your speaking ability as well, writing ability as well, but some of the students don't like it.
Yeah,
And I also motivate my students to read as much as you can, because if they read books, they will eventually start liking to read theory papers as well.
exactly.
So F1 paper is very interesting to read and to give as well. And it seems really easy at first, but after that, if you start exploring the exam questions, you will get to know that exam questions are literally, some exam questions are very technical, and it can test your more in-depth concepts in the paper. So start reading today and have a very soothing environment all around yourself, so that you can study as much as possible and have breaks as well. And start early, because I always recommend to start early and then practice almost a month ago from your exam,
Yeah.
so that you can be very confident and you can pass with good numbers as well.
Exactly. And that nicely links on to, because it's going to be some people's first exam, they won't know about the computer-based examination platform which they'll actually complete the exam on. Now, what's your advice for using the CBE platform? Because for me, it's an area where students don't read the question properly. They don't put down the right format for the answer. They don't get the thousands right. All these little silly mistakes are what I see in students, in the difference in them passing the exam or not passing the exam. So what's your advice about the CBE exam?
Um, that's a very nice question, James, because I have seen many students who are just 2 marks away from passing their exam. And this is not something which relates to their knowledge level. It relates to the poor exam technique. Like they know the answer, but they failed their exam because of their poor exam technique. And the way they correct this is to be familiar with the CBE platform as much as possible ahead of their exam, because they don't practice in the CBE platform, and that is the main reason they fail, because they don't use to the exam interface. They don't
Yeah.
use to the CBE exam interface, which they should do, because every student should implement their learnings in CBE platform and do as much exam questions as possible
Yeah.
before their exam, so that they don't have an anxiety related to the CBE platform or the exam related questions. First, when they start their exam, they have an anxiety related to the what kind of
Yeah.
questions
They're
they
not
will
used to
see.
it. That's why.
Yeah, they don't used to it, and the timer is a daunting, you can say, thing in the top right corner of the CBE interface. So that is what shakes their confidence, and they lose easy marks which they don't have to, because this paper is too interesting. If you just give your 2 to 3 hours per day before 2 months of exam, you can easily pass your paper.
Yeah.
And it will be a very you can say it will be a good start for the ACCA exam.
Yeah, exactly. I think 2 to 3 months for business technology, if you do it by itself, I think is a really good tip on there as to a reasonable amount of time with at least 1 month of question practice and CBE platform use. But we've also got to talk about, because it's going to be the first exam, there are going to be some students that will unfortunately have failed it on there because they go, oh, it's just a bit overwhelming for me. Maybe I don't work in finance or accounting. So what advice would you give to someone who's maybe failed the exam, or someone who doesn't want, trying not to fail the exam? What would you go about it?
My tips would be very simple. Like as I told before, to read everything in detail. Don't skip a chapter. Don't think that you know everything. You don't know until you sit in the exam. So just have a confidence first that you will eventually pass this exam. Don't be afraid to see lots of theories in front of you. Just take a step-by-step approach and read the study text in detail first, then make your own notes for review before the exam, and then practice as much as possible. Practice exam kits. If you follow Kaplan study text, you should solve both of the BPP and Kaplan exam kit, so that you will explore as many exam questions as possible, and try to relate everything with the theory explained in your study text, because so many students get their answers wrong in the exam kit, and they don't go back and read in detail why they were wrong in the first place. So try to do your own, you can say, examination, your own self review before sitting in the exam. You are your own examiner, so try to be a confident teacher of yourself first, and just think about why you got this question wrong, and start doing practice of that area.
Exactly.
Like if you got a wrong question in personal effectiveness chapter, you should review whole chapter, review all the notes which you have made earlier, and then start doing questions again.
And
so that you can,
lots of people to add to that don't know about the free resources that the ACCA put out.
Free resources. Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that?
I want to talk about it as well, because ACCA has given so many free resources, the ACCA platform, which students never go to, or you can say they don't have a practice of reviewing everything in detail, because they just have study text and exam kit, and they think that this is enough for passing their exam. But no, you should review everything which ACCA has presented to you, like technical articles. The examining team has given so many technical articles for the major areas of the syllabus. So you should review those as well. And you should go through the examiner reports as well, because it is having the questions why students got wrong in the first place, and you will never do the same mistake those students have did earlier. So these are the few techniques which I myself has followed, and I am successfully passed the exam. So I will recommend this technique, because there is so much to cover in ACCA exam. So you should first go through the study text, and then make your notes, and then go to the exam kits, do the question practice, and then follow the technical articles and examiner report, so that you will be satisfied with your learnings and implementation session as well.
I think absolutely. Absolutely correct on there. And what I can do for you is I'll put in the description of this video the link, so that if you're watching this video, you can click it and it will take you directly to where those free resources are to help you out, because I completely agree with Maria there, especially the external examiner reports. If you failed the exam, they tell you where students make silly mistakes. And what are your thoughts on silly mistakes in this exam, where students don't read the question properly, don't understand, they don't picture what the requirement is asking for? What's your tips on that for exam technique?
Yes, silly mistakes, like students get really overwhelmed with the questions at first, because they think that they don't know everything, and it's very natural, James. You and I have done this part as well on our side, because we don't know everything in the exam, and that what disturbed us at first in the exam, right? It's very natural. It's very natural. You don't need to know everything. You just get your few questions correct, which can make a passing result for you. So try to solve each and every easy question and just eliminate those which are bothering you for now.
Yeah.
And just go to those questions at last, so that you can review those later, and you can brainstorm to those questions and solve them as well. But do not I have also seen some students that they left the questions which they don't know, and that is a very bad practice, because you can say guess the answer.
Yeah, of course.
There is no negative marking in the exam. There is no negative marking, so you should guess your answers and just go ahead with your exam. And if you don't know anything, it's not a big deal. You have full exam left in front of your screen. So just if you don't have any idea why what's the answer of this question, just flag the question and move on.
Yeah.
Do not spend your time. I have seen so many students complaining me that, ma'am, I have spent 15 minutes to the question because I was getting stuck in that question, and I don't know what's the answer of that question. So ma'am, that is why I didn't have enough time to solve all of the questions in the exam, and that is why I got failed. So I just explained him that you should you should not be right in all of the questions in front of you. You should do your best.
Yeah.
Just answer the easy questions first. Just grab the easy marks, and then think about the difficult or technical one later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do not input your so much time in the exam for one question which is worth 2 marks.
Yeah.
And that is the main reason of failing the exam.
I completely agree. And just flagging it on the system, this is where your CPE practice comes into it, because you're going to be new to this process. What you do it on a computer, and it's a little flag at the bottom where it will highlight the question again. You can come back onto it, but you've only got 2 hours in the exam for 100 marks, 1.2 minutes per mark. So you've got to answer the full 100 on there, or you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Exactly, because it's of no good use that you put your 15 minutes in that 2 worth mark question. So it's not a good idea, because you have wasted your 15 minutes, and you can do much more in the exam if you put your 15 minutes in other questions. You can review other questions as well. You can change your answers to the correct one by reviewing the other questions as well. So it's not a good practice.
Just focusing in on the requirements and making sure you understand it correctly. And you touched on a really good point there, Maria. Some of the answers just can't be right. So you've got to be identifying those, eliminating them out, and then instead of it being 1 from 4, it could be 1 from 2, 1 from 3 as a result on there. But Maria, for the recording, is there anything else lingering on your mind that could help a student to pass their business technology examination that you've just got to get out there so they can get it down in their notes to wrap up for today?
Okay, so I have 2 things to say. Number one is some of the students get failed in 45 to 50, you can say, numbers. So that is not their fault. That is not where their knowledge is lacking. It's not about their knowledge. It's about the poor exam technique which they are following. So just have some patience and do easy marks question first. Do what you know first, and then left all of the other questions later, so that you can review those later, and you will have, I can say, 50 marks above at that time. So just don't disheart if you got failed in the last attempt. You have plenty of time later, and you can review again and change your exam technique and give the exam again, so that you can easily pass your exam. And the other thing which I need to discuss as well, because if the students get failed before, you can say, in the criteria of 25 marks to 30 marks, so that is where they should be thinking about their study approach, because it is mostly of their knowledge gap. and it's related to their knowledge gap.
Yeah.
That is why they got failed in the first attempt. So just review all of the things, follow James' technique, which James has clearly mentioned in his YouTube tutorials. So follow James, his techniques, and then we tutors are here to support you, and we are here to give you top techniques to pass your exam. And I think we are here to give you techniques, but it is up to you to know your study schedule, to know your study routine, and to know your style. What style suits you the most? So try to evaluate your schedule and and the technique which you are most comfortable with, and then follow those things so that you can pass your exam in the first step.
Exactly. Oh, fantastic tips on that. And to even link into that, where you mentioned about what mark you would get, well, you should be doing a mock test maybe 2 weeks before the actual exam you've booked in, because then that will show you 2 weeks before your exam, do I need to go back and cover some topic areas, or do I need to work on exam technique or time management? So I would definitely get that down as well to add to that. But I must say, Maria, thank you so much for today, for your time coming on the channel to share your insights on it, and for the viewers as well. This is Maria's debut, everyone. She was a bit nervous beforehand, but she's been an absolute superstar. So be sure to make sure that you like this video. And if you've got any questions for myself, Maria, leave us a comment at the bottom. More than happy to answer them on there. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you get access to all the other free videos on the channel that will help take you through your whole ACCA journey on there, which we advocate on the channel. But again, Maria, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, James, for having me in your meeting, in your interview. Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you and explaining those tips to our ACCA student community. I'm very much looking forward to more having these kind of conversations in the future. Thank you so much.
We've got your first one, and we've got another one now. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. And on that bombshell, we'll see you next time. Bye.